Namah Parvati Pataye Govindanam Sankirtanam.
Everyone, Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. With that great sloka we talked about last time, the beginning of Mahabharata, we'll continue our stories of Mahabharata, Kathāśravaṇam of Mahabharata. So this is, so you heard last time about the Ugrasravasa, the Sūta or the storyteller. In English we have the word raconteur, R-A-C-O-N-T-U-R. It means great storyteller. So in our legend, the great storyteller is this Ugrasravasa, Sūta, son of Romaharshana. He is also called Ramaharshini. As we said last time, he was approached by all the Brahmarshis, Mahamunis who were performing the Dirgha Satrayaga of 12 years. And in that context, they wanted to hear an amazing story. And that's when the Ugrasravasa Sūta remembered that Mahanubhava, the great, the immense intellect, unimaginable intellect, the unimaginable character. It's hard for us to even imagine how somebody could do that. That is Veda Vyasa. He meditates on Veda Vyasa, and with his blessings, he tells the story. He commences the story of the Mahabharata. So this Veda Vyasa is the Guru for all of us. He is the Paramaguru. He is the Parāsaratmaja, the son of Parāsara. He is also called Satyavateya because he is the son of Satyavati. He is also called Krishna Dvaipayana because he was born in an island in the river Yamuna. And he was from there. So it's a very extraordinary birth we hear about Vedavyasa. He was born fully grown. So as soon as he was born, he bowed to his mother, Satyavati, and said, "Mother, I have come for a certain purpose in this life. I have to go for tapas immediately." And bowing to his mother, he says, "Now I have to go to perform tapas." And so mother says, "Just now you are born. I am delighted to see that you are already grown up. But I have not even spent any time with you. When will I see you again?" So Vyasa says, "Whenever you need me, really need me, mother, think of me, I will come to you." And with that, takes her blessings and goes away to perform tapas. He was a born tapasvi. And because he was born in that dvipa, in that small island, which later became the island where Sri Krishna, who was on the banks of river Yamuna, used to spend a lot of time in there. It was the island where Krishna spent a lot of time. And it was famous as Krishna Dvipa. Since he was born in the Krishna Dvipa, see, Veda Vyasa is also called Krishna Dvaipayana. And if we think about it, there is this very intimate relationship between Krishna and Veda Vyasa. In fact, if we think of the purpose of Veda Vyasa, the greatest avatara was happening. The world was being blessed with the greatest avatara, the unimaginable avatar of Sri Krishna. Vishnu came in his full glory as Sri Krishna, Sri Mahavishnu. And who can capture this glory of Sri Krishna? This avatara has come onto the earth. But somebody has to capture that greatness, the Mahatmyam, the amazing nature and the wonder of that avatara, the great purpose of that avatara, the great message of that avatara, the leelas of that avatara. Who can capture that? Who is capable of capturing that? None other than Mahavishnu himself. So Mahavishnu also had to take the avatar of Vyasa to capture the glory of Sri Krishna. That's why we say Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidaye Vasisthaya Namo Namaha. So Veda Vyasa is from the Vamsha of Vasishtha. Vasishtha had the son Shakti, Shakti had the son Parashara, Parashara had the son Vyasa. Is the great grandson of Vasishtha, Mahamuni himself, Veda Vyasa. So such a great lineage he comes from. So he was born to capture the Mahatmyam of Sri Krishna. So this great Veda Vyasa composed this amazing story of Mahabharata. And so Sūta continued to tell the rishis this wonderful story. He gave a summary of that story to the rishis. He said, this story is really about an amazing war that took place, just as a Rama Ravana Yuddha took place in Treta Yuga. In Dwapara Yuga, there was an extraordinary war that took place during the avatar of Sri Krishna. This was a 18-day war. In that 18-day war, it was terrible. 10 days, the commander of the Kaurava army was Bhishma. 5 days, it was Drona. Drona was the commander. 2 days, it was Karna. And then after these 17 days, on the 18th day, half a day, it was Shalya who was the commander. And then finally, in the remaining half of the day, there was a Ghora Gada Yuddha, tremendous war of Gada, mace. Yuddha took place for an entire half day. It will seem never ending. That Ghora Gada Yuddha happened. In this way, this war went on for 18 days. And this story is all centered on that war. In this war, this is what it is about. And there are 18 chapters in this Mahabharata, 18 parvas. And these 18 parvas, we should all remember these parvas. I hope you all know what are the 18 parvas of Mahabharata. If not, you can take notes, you can learn, and we should remember, because we are doing Bharata Kathāśravaṇam, we should know that first sloka that we chant every time, and we should know the Ashtadasa parvas of Mahabharata, because this is the wonder of Mahabharata. This is great work, something which is our heritage, something which we should be all so proud of. So what are these 18 parvas? The first parva is called Adi Parva. Then there is, the Sūta tells the rishis the summary of each parva. After talking about this amazing war, he says, what is that story? How is it divided? So there is Adi Parva. He gives the summary of Adi Parva. Then he talks about the second one, Sabha Parva. Then that leads to the Pandavas going away to the forest. Adi Parva is the beginning, the whole beginning of the Bharata story. Then Sabha Parva is all about the sabhas or palaces. Yudhishthira gets a beautiful Maya Sabha, and then there is a competing Sabha that Duryodhana creates. Then there is the game of dice. All of those things happen. That is the Sabha Parva. The third Parva is Aranya Parva, when the Pandavas go into the Vanavasa. Followed by that, fourth Parva is Virata Parva. And this is when the Pandavas are in Ajñātavasa or in incognito. Nobody should know where they are. They live in the palace or in the kingdom of Virata, in Matsya Desha. So that is the fourth chapter, Virata Parva. Then that 13 years of the Vanavasas plus Ajñātavasa, 12 years Vanavasa plus 1 year of Ajñātavasa is completed with this Virata Parva. And then fifth chapter is Udyoga Parva. Udyoga Parva is when everybody makes attempts. One attempt, one side they are making preparations for war. Another side they are making a tremendous effort to achieve peace. So it's one party, both parties are getting ready for war because it seems inevitable. But Pandavas really want peace. They want to make every effort to achieve peace. And they go on having this negotiations. The Udyoga Parva is an amazing Parva which should be read by all students of negotiation, all students who want to know any form of negotiation. These days in corporations we hear, we take classes on negotiation, and this is an amazing study of and categories of negotiation, because there are 4 Rayabharas that happen there. There is the first Drupada's Purohita comes as a negotiator. Then second, Sanjaya goes as a negotiator. So Drupada's Purohita goes to the Kauravas from the Pandavas as a negotiator. Kauravas send Sanjaya as a negotiator. Then Pandavas send Sri Krishna himself as the negotiator, Rayabhari. This is the most celebrated episode of Sri Krishna Rayabhara. Amazing, when Sri Krishna himself goes as a negotiator. Then finally, Shakuni's son is sent as the negotiator by the Kauravas and to the Pandavas, which destroys everything. And so then it culminates in war. These 5 chapters, with the end of Udyoga Parva, it culminates in a war. War becomes inevitable. Then you have the 6 chapters called Yuddha Shatkam. The 6 chapters which are all about war. As we said, first Bhishma was the commander for 10 days. And that Parva is called Bhishma Parva. Then we have Drona becomes the commander. As the mighty Bhishma falls, Drona, the guru of both the Pandavas and the Kauravas, the great Acharya Drona himself becomes the commander of the Kauravas. So it is Drona Parva. 5 days he is the commander. Then the celebrated Karna, who is the center of this story in so many ways. The Karna becomes the commander. He has always been dreaming of fighting with Arjuna. And so he is the commander of the Kaurava army for 2 days. That is the Karna Parva. That is the 8th chapter. Then finally Karna also falls. And then Shalya, who is another great warrior, who is actually the uncle of Pandavas. He is Madri's brother. But he has been tricked to become the commander of the, tricked to join the Kaurava army. But anyway, he is, once he joins, he is very dedicated. So Shalya becomes the commander. Only half a day he survives. And that is the Shalya Parva. Then there is this Parva where it starts with Duryodhana hiding in a harada or a lake, and then goes from there to Duryodhana being called out by Bhima, then half a day of tremendous Kada Yuddham, ending with the end of Duryodhana. And it doesn't end there. The tragedy of the war continues even after Duryodhana has fallen. And when the Pandavas all are sleeping at that time, the remaining people who are left on the Pandava side, except for Pandavas who have been hidden by Sri Krishna, everybody is destroyed. And that is the Sauptika Parva. And finally, there is a lamentation. All the people, all the widows and all the people who have lost the warriors, mothers, everybody come to the battlefield and lament. That is, war always ends in tremendous sorrow. That sorrow is in Stri Parva. So that is the 11th chapter. So Shalya Parva, 9th chapter, Sauptika Parva. The 10th chapter is called Sauptika Parva. And 11th chapter is Stri Parva. With this Yuddha Shatkam from Bhishma Parva, Drona Parva, Karna Parva, Shalya Parva, Sauptika Parva, and Stri Parva, the war is completed. But Mahabharata does not end with the war. War is at the center of the story. But the message is for all humanity, and it is a message of peace. It is a message of elevation, of spirituality, of knowing every sphere of life. How should we live? How should countries be run? How should management be done? How should administration be done? What moral principles should society follow? What are the duties of various classes of people? what are the goals we should achieve, what is the role of bhakti in life, what are the yagas. All of these topics are very important in the way society has to continue. So this comprehensive teaching of the greatest teachings of the Vedas and the Upanishads and the greatest learnings all have to be given to society to continue. And this great task, the Bhishma, who is lying on the arrow bed, takes on. So the biggest chapters of the Mahabharata are, in fact, Aranya Parva is the biggest chapter before the war, where we get many such teachings. And then there is this Shanti Saptakam, the 7 chapters of in the peace, related to peace. And in the after the war, post-war, this Shanti Saptakam starts with Shanti Parva, the Parva of peace. Anushasana Parva. Both these Parvas are dominated by Bhishma Pitamaha and his amazing teachings. Then we have the Aswamedika Parva, where Aswamedha Yajna is performed by Yudhishthira. Then after he becomes king, then Ashramavasika Parva, when everybody retains again to the Ashramavasa. And then there is the Mausala Parva. That is the end of the Yadavas, Mausala Parva. Then there is the Mahaprasthanika Parva, when the Pandavas give up all their kingdom, give this kingdom to their son Parikshit, and they go away towards the Himalayas. So that is the Mahaprasthanika Parva. And finally, they reach heaven in this Vargarohana Parva. So those are the 18 wonderful Parvas of Mahabharata. This amazing story is unparalleled. This has 100,000 slokas. If we think about it, if we think of Bhagavad Gita, it is 700 slokas, right? 700 or 701 slokas. And that is but just one small part of the Bhishma Parva. In the beginning of the Bhishma Parva, we get Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But think of this 100,000 slokas. Ramayana, Srimad Ramayana is 24,000 slokas. So this is 100,000 slokas. And it is greater than any other poetic text in the world. If you take Homer's Iliad or Odyssey, both of them combined are much smaller than Mahabharata. So they are considered the greatest epics in Greek literature or in world literature. Mahabharata is much larger. So this amazing work, and it's not just the size, but the depth that is in that. It is totally astounding. It was compiled, Sūta says, Veda Vyasa compiled it in 3 years. So in 3 years, imagine, it's like 100 slokas every day he was composing. Like that in 3 years, Veda Vyasa composed this Mahabharata. And since this is an amazing story, he then had to appoint the different people to tell this great story. So he sent different, like a publisher sends agents to take the publication to different places. Veda Vyasa appointed Narada Mahamuni to convey this Mahabharata to the Devaloka. And Asito Devalaha, the Asitudaina, the Devala, he sent to Pitruloka. And for the other Garuda, Gandharva, Yaksha, Rakshasa Lokas to convey this Mahabharata, to tell the story there, he sent Shuka. And to Nagaloka, he sent Sumanta. And for the Manushya Loka, he appointed Vaishampayana. This Vaishampayana went and told this story in the great court of Janamejaya, who is the grandson of the Pandavas, the son of Parikshit. He was performing in the very place which is called Shamantaka Panchakam or the Kurukshetram. In that place, Janamejaya performed a great yajna called Sarpayaga. And there, at that time, Vaishampayana told this story to Janamejaya. That is where Mahabharata was conveyed to the Manushya Loka. And Ramaharshini Ugrasravasa Sūta is saying, I was there in person. I heard this story directly from Vaishampayana. That is how I know the entire story. When I hear a story once, I capture everything. That is his nature. He is a great story. He is a treasure chest of stories. So this is how I got it. So this is the story. This is the amazing story of the Mahabharata. It involves this 18-day war at the center, in which 18 Akshavinis of soldiers fought. There were 11 Akshavinis on the Kauravas side, 7 on the Pandavas side, and they all fought and got destroyed in that terrible war. That is the center of this story. And so, what is this Akshavini? People ask Ugrasravasa that question. The rishis ask, what is this Akshavini? Tell us clearly. Then he gives a detailed explanation. But the summary is, one Akshavini is a unit of warfare. And one Akshavini consists of 21,870 chariots and an equal number of elephants, 21,870 elephants. And then it has 65,610 horses. So if you think about it, that is 3 times 21,870 is 65,610. And it has 109,350 foot soldiers. That is 5 times 21,870. So that is the one unit called Akshavini. If you count all of them together, it has 218,700 warriors. And it has, we already talked about the number of chariots, elephants, and horses. And 18 such Akshavinis, 11 on the side of Duryodhana, 7 on the side of Yudhishthira, fought in this war. So if you do the math, that is 3,936,600 warriors were present in that war. In addition to 393,660 chariots, then 393,660 elephants, and 1,180,980 horses. That is the amazing force that got together. In all these 18 Akshavinis, at the end of the war, only 10 people were left. Sri Krishna and Pandavas on the Pandavas side, 6 people. Aswadhama, Kritavarma, Satyaki, and Krupacharya, 4 people on the Kauravas side. Only 10 people were left. That was the terrible, terrible war that happened. So what led to that war and what the message after that war is the amazing story of Mahabharata. It is an unparalleled story. And with this, with that summary, Sūta continues to go on to tell the rest of the Mahabharata. We'll hear some gems from this story, but you should know the summary of how it began. That is why we went through all this today. This itself is an amazing story. With that, Om Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet. Om Tat Sat.